Thank you for having me here. This is from my PhD dissertation. I'm at the Grad Center at the City University of New York, and my research is in North Lebanon and the Eastern Mediterranean, um, looking at these healing shrines and lactation grottoes. Um, Now, although women were free to worship in churches, just like the pilgrim, they would need to distance themselves when they sought healing. They must visit other places, such as tombs or springs, sacred trees, and caves. These are often called paraliturgical shrines. They were also interpreted as public spaces where women can transport the female ritual outside the privacy of the home and engage with other women. This afforded them with a social approval to leave their homes and seek spiritual needs. They are thus asserting their civic membership by ensuring the welfare and endurance of their families and community. Specific matters call for specific practices and rituals, ones that cannot be performed in a liturgical space or even by a priest. Female supplicants with issues in fertility, lactation, or sick children would visit these shrines, claiming to cure these ailments. Moreover, healing shrines were places of inner faith, and women of all religions and beliefs would visit them because the aim was mutual for all: fertility, lactation, and infant health. Women were responsible for childbearing, and they even carried the shame for the couple's infertility, as her social status and family fortune would also rely on her fertility. Evidence of these deep concerns are found in figurines, magical texts, and saints' legends that refer to women visiting shrines to obtain a pregnancy. Men were not completely excluded from these practices, as indicated in some hagiographies that depict mothers as being too desperate that the husband must act as the mediator by arranging the rituals and fulfilling the vow. Some rituals even required that both husband and wife incubate at the shrine or participate together in the ritual. In his study on the Collyridians, Benko describes these early Christians as having a similar ritual to Jewish and Greco-Roman women who gathered in remote places, sometimes even under the cover of the night. This is not too different from what women in modern day North Lebanon have been doing. During my oral history project on the St. Marina rock shelter, I learned that women often traveled in groups to the shrine and oftentimes at dusk or dawn to avoid being identified. In my search for more similar places, I was able to locate 25 shrines that are strictly connected to women and mothers. Many of them are still active shrines, and the question of their archaeology and origins is of interest. Most of them are natural features, and 3 of them either used to be pagan temples before the region was Christianized or contain spolia from a nearby temple. Most of them are dedicated to the Virgin Mary, the holy motherly figure par excellence. Other saints popular among women and mothers were suffering mothers themselves, such as Martishmuni and Martmarina. Mothers also visited shrines dedicated to infant and child health, such as birth defects, recurrent fevers. They visited Sayyidat Naya, Our Lady the Healer, Saint Sophia and her 3 daughters, and Marzakhia, among others. It is important to note that 13 of the 25 shrines in my survey are dedicated to the nursing virgin, a theme that was underrepresented in early Christian art. Most of these shrines are natural features, a cave or a grotto. The shrine is often not accessible very easily and is found in a remote place away from the village. It is very dark and humid inside. An altar is typically found inside to hold pictures of saints, candles, or incense. Sometimes the altar is a simple natural shelf formed in the rock. A few examples have plastered and painted walls, but in general, the space is left in its natural state, except for the addition of an altar if necessary. In the absence of any ancient material culture, it is important to note the modern day presence of hanging infant clothes, ribbons, and pacifiers. These items, like all votive objects, were left by mothers to begin a vow. Ancient ex votos can possibly be found around these shrines. However, archaeological excavations might prove difficult because of the rocky nature of the places and the absence of significant archaeological strata. Other intangible evidence is also evasive to the archaeologist, such as ancient traditions and rituals. Some fertility rituals are still being practiced, even though it is inconceivable to trace their exact origins. It is important to take them into account. Methods in ethnoarchaeology can thus be very useful to the study, as well as mapping the landscape, studying the material culture, and collecting historical evidence from a range of time periods. Thank you so much for your attention.